All right, let's kick it off in style. Right, coming back from the break with our good buddy from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, if you will, Mr. Blackjack Lazza. Blackjack, what's going on, buddy?
G'day, how's it going?
How's it
Hey,
going,
mate.
mate?
Nice and clean shaved Blackjack Lazarus.
Yeah. I basically come on because I done my scenarios for the Bret Hart booking.
Let's hear, brother.
It's a bit like a Quentin Tarantino movie, just less gore. But I'll read it out and hopefully people enjoy it. The first scenario is Bret Hart versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan, or Hollywood Hogan, I should say. Bret Hart's arrival in WCW Nitro opening segment. Lights dim, a single spotlight hits the ring. Hollywood Hogan's down. The crowd is stunned. Tony Schiavone on commentary. What the hell? That's Bret Hart. Bret Hart is in WCW. Bret stands over Hogan, slowly pulls out a black rose from his jacket and drops it on Hogan's chest. A message sent, Tony says. Loud and clear, the Hitman has arrived. So basically, that's the setup for Bret Hart coming to WCW, making his shocking debut by attacking Hollywood Hogan. Setting up for like his Hitman persona as well, where he attacks him, leaves a black rose on his chest. And that the feud would be like Hart representing tradition and Hogan representing the corporate sort of stuff, like the NWO and their corrupt politics. The anti-NWO crusade joins forces with Rowdy Piper to confront the NWO. Later that night, Rowdy Piper promo in the ring. Rowdy Piper, you people remember they live. I put the glasses back on and I see the NWO for what they are. Politicians, manipulators and parasites feeding off the WCW. Piper, I brought in Bret Hart because he's been through what I've been through, held back, screwed over, and I'll be damned if I let these suits and backroom deals take over this place. Piper, Bret's here to clean house, and believe me when I say he's got no love for the NWO. By making Hart the anti-NWO hero, WCW could have created a compelling narrative with Bret leading a faction of lawless to methodically dismantle the NWO's power and influence. Storytelling, visuals, they lie symbolize like They Live. I don't know if you're familiar with the film They Live with Rowdy Piper.
No.
I sort of incorporated that into the storyline. It's a film where he's I think it's a John Carpenter film.
Oh,
where he has
Yeah, they live.
glasses.
They live. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've adapted with like the Roddy Piper stuff. But anyway, they lie, stylised like they live. Visuals, grainy black and white visuals, NWO members laughing in slow motion, overlaid text, obey, sellout, screw job, cut to Piper and Bret in the shadows, voiceover, Piper, they want control, but they forgot we fight back. The story is told with visuals inspired by They Live, gritty anti-authority and filled with subliminal messages like obey and screw job, symbolising Piper and Bret's fight against the NWO. NWO ties, the storyline hints at real world connections, Hogan's ties to Vince McMahon and Eric Bischoff, their role in destroying wrestling territories, and the NWO acting like a secret club that runs wrestling with dirty politics. Right, that's that scenario. That's sort of like one of the scenarios I'd use with him coming in. This next scenario is Bret Hart and Sting Dream Tag Team. Backstage, Sting confronts Bret Hart. Sting, you in, Hitman? Bret, damn right I'm in. This locker room needs a leader, and I'm not going to let the NWO ruin what guys like us built. Bret begins like appearing at the commentary table, criticising WCW politics and aligning with Sting. Bret and Sting eventually form a dream tag team unit. Ultimately, Sting will go back to being a solo wrestler, expanding on that persona, and all through he and his tag team will break up. They will remain on good terms with a casual friendship and alliance based on loyalty. So I'm basically just utilising it as like something to create interest, and then eventually they'll do their own thing, but they'll sort of create interest with the Sting persona and the Bret Hart persona. Number 4 scenario, formation of the Hart Foundation 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Reuniting with family members and close allies, Hart could establish a new iteration of the Hart Foundation in WCW. This faction would have served as a counterbalance to the NWO, promoting wrestling integrity and tradition. Feuds with rival stables would have reached WCW's faction dynamics and offered fresh matchups. Bret recreates the Hart Foundation with Jim Neidhart, British Bulldog, and possibly Chris Benoit and Roddy Piper joining forces with them due to his loyalty to Bret Hart, with Owen Hart potentially joining the fold if he leaves WWF. Scenario 5, mentorship and elevation of rising stars. Hart's reputation made him an ideal mentor for emerging talents, engaging in feuds with the likes of Chris Jericho, Booker T, and Eddie Guerrero. Hart could have elevated their profile through competitive matches. Such programs would have bolstered WCW's mid-card and ensured a pipeline of credible main eventers. Chris Jericho could be WCW's answer to Shawn Michaels, and his similarity in personality to Owen Hart combined with Bret Hart's chemistry with both men could lead to a compelling series of matches with Bret. Playing Chris Jericho as WCW's response to Shawn Michaels in WWF and factoring in the Montreal Screwjob. Bret never turns heel. He remains a complex babyface in WCW. After retiring, Bret could leverage his expertise to become a trainer, road agent, producer, and creative team member for WCW, contributing to the company's success in multiple capacities. I'm hoping Bret can mirror Kurt Angle's accomplishments in TNA and bring similar success to WCW. Maybe WCW will end up buying WWF instead of the other way around. And that's pretty much the end of my fantasy booking scenarios.
Good scenarios, Lawrence. I like those, man. Those
No,
are some good. Yeah, man. Those are some good ideas for Bret. What they could have done. All good ideas, man. It's amazing to think about the what ifs when you look at this run and what they could have done. Right? There was just so much that was there for them, and they just didn't do it.
Absolutely.
Blackjack, good shit, man. I like it, buddy.
Love it, buddy.
Give us a plug for your. Give us a plug for your groups, man. That you got.
Oh yeah, the pro wrestling group I run is Lazarus Pro Wrestling Fan Group. You can just search that on the Facebook search thing, and you should be able to find it.
Some good stuff over there too.
Mm-hmm.
I also moderate the Foreign Objects. Don't know if you know that group, but yeah, I'm a moderator on the Foreign Objects.
Good groups, man. I always post our stuff in there, so I know they bring some people over. So we always do appreciate that. Good ones, Blackjack. Blackjack, man, stick around and watch the rest of the show with us. All right.
No worries. Before I go, I'll just say with Chris Jericho, yeah, another idea I had in my head was basically he'll be the one to retire Bret Hart, sort of mirroring like the screw job, but it's sort of like a FU to WWF because he'll be like the dungeon trained version of Shawn Michaels in WCW, and they build him up as the counter opponent to Shawn Michaels in WWF, and Chris Jericho ends up being like WCW's Shawn Michaels, and Bret Hart helps make Chris Jericho and retires to Chris Jericho, and he can be like a real villain and can use his like cocky ego and Lionheart persona in WCW as a counter attack to WWF with Shawn Michaels.
All right, man. Well, I like him, buddy. We'll see you on the next go around next week. Good stuff, buddy. All right.
Nice.
All right. Be good,
Okay.
Blackjack. All right.